When you think about the Appalachian Mountains, it's hard not to think about the iconic oak trees that cover the landscape. But it wasn't always that way. Chestnut trees used to be the dominant species in the region until a devastating pathogen was introduced in the early 1900s. Within 40 years, the chestnut trees were all but extinct. How did this happen? We've been using trade routes to transport plants, crops, and food, aside from other goods, for some time. What we don't always talk about, though, is that with all of this trade sometimes comes unintended consequences. Back in the early 1900s, we accidentally introduced chestnut blight from a crop of Asiatic chestnuts that were brought to the New York Zoological Gardens. We didn't realize that Asiatic chestnuts had developed a resistance to a particular pathogen they carried along with them, one that would prove to be devastating to the entire Appalachian region of American chestnuts, moving all the way down to Mississippi and Alabama by the 1940s. But what can we do about it? One group, the American Chestnut Research and Restoration Project, has researched and tested transgenic possibilities to reintroduce American chestnuts in forests. Their work is in its early stages and has been successful, but does everyone support it? Is there still public backlash regarding GMOs? Can better education be a solution? Responsibility to protect plant and wildlife species?
Yes.
Well, whose responsibility is that?
I think government organizations, scientific research groups, environmental conservation groups, things like that.
What did you learn about GMOs in school?
Nothing really.
Do you think that GMOs should be included in K-12 curriculums?
Well, I'm not a scientist and I don't know much about GMOs. I know that the European Union banned them, but I don't really know why. I would say if it's taught in a science class and that it's based on scientific evidence and talks about both sides of the argument, it's probably a good 21st century topic that should be included. I don't really remember learning a lot of relevant information in school that had a lasting impact on me, but I think that would probably be a good topic for that.
If there was a way to bring back a nearly extinct plant species using GMOs, would you support that?
I think so.
Do you have any hesitations about it?
No, but I think there should be some restrictions. It should be economically feasible and have a high success rate. I'd want the scientific community to all be in agreement that it's a good idea.
Well, what do you tell your friends that maybe don't agree with you or have some hesitations about GMOs?
Just that they should do their own research. GMOs have been around forever. There's all these new health crazes that people get caught up with, and when we talk about GMOs in that context, people are sometimes worried. They might feel different about that, about GMOs in the environment.
Have you heard about the American Chestnut Research and Restoration Project and their goal of trying to grow 10,000 blight-resistant American chestnut trees?
No, but that sounds like a good idea.
Why do you think that's a good idea?
Well, if we were responsible for nearly destroying it, shouldn't we be responsible for replenishing it?
With chestnut blight, the pathogen forms fatal cankers on the trees. Since the pathogen does not infect the roots of the chestnuts, they continue to sprout, but because there are cankers elsewhere in the forest that produce the pathogen, those sprouts become infected too, and the disease cycle continues on. The American Chestnut Research and Restoration Project uses a gene from wheat called oxalate oxidase, which renders the pathogen's ability to cause cankers ineffective. By adding this gene to the genome of the chestnut, it now has the ability to defend itself and grow past the sprout stage. While the topic of GMOs has been debated for a while, this particular application of genetic engineering does have some benefits. This chestnut project could be the first step in trying to reverse some of the damage caused not only by chestnut blight, but for other pathogens and pests as well. But after talking with a few people, it seems like better education is still needed in regard to GMOs and the public. By including GMO topics in science education, the general public may be able to lay to rest some common misconceptions, basing their opinions on scientific fact and proven research.